Well, welcome back to the channel, guys. This video here is going to be on some tires that I bought off of eBay, and I want to kind of give you my opinions on them and what I think about them. Behind me here is my 1995 Chevy K1500, and it was one of the rare models. They put the 6.5 diesel in from the factory, which is one of the reasons I saved it. It was sitting out back behind a house for probably 15 years or so. And all the tires on it were they were just gone, dry rotted. There's no saving them, you know. They were that bad. They were the worst I've ever seen. So the tires that are on it now were just some cheap ones to get it so that I could move it around. You know, I think I paid 20 bucks a piece. They're actually 225 75 16s, which are too small for the truck. The truck calls for 245 75 16. But what we're going to put on it is 265 75 16. We're going to upsize them just a little bit. So we'll go over the new tires that I bought. We'll go over installing them on the rims, you know, taking the old ones off, putting the new ones on. And then I want to talk about this truck a little bit and what I've already done to it and what it needs to have done to it in the future. So let's get started. So here's the tires I bought. They just showed up about 3 hours ago. FedEx dropped them off. They are a Landspider Wildtraxx A. They also have a mud version of this tire, but I didn't want that. I wanted the road version. And let's just look at the tread here. You can kind of see the pattern on it. My first initial reaction to these is they feel good. The sidewalls are thick. The rubber feels really nice, like it would grip very well. The tread pattern, if you look, everything is kind of tapered in on all your studs. So I think it'll be good at clearing snow and mud as well. So these tires are made in Thailand. You know, they're not a Cooper. Cooper is the only one that I know of that actually makes tires in the United States, and they are a USA owned company. I don't know of any other tire company that is, so usually I will go with a Cooper. However, for this project truck, Coopers were twice the price. So I figured I'd go ahead and just try these out and see how they did, and then make a little video on it for you guys. You know, because I know everybody's kind of on a budget and everybody needs a little break here and there. So we're going to go ahead and throw these on, and I hope they last a long time. So as far as my setup here, we're going to use the Harbor Freight tire changer. I have made some modifications to this. I believe I have a video going over all that. I got an air hose that comes over here. I got this set up this way for a reason, because believe it or not, I have a lot of tire problems. Got this hose reel, which is long enough to reach out to the truck. We're going to take them off. Got air coming out of here so that we can have it where we need to work and also have it at the truck. So I'm going to round up all the tools and we're going to pull these tires off and start changing them out. So I'm pretty sure that these tires aren't rated for this truck. Should have a load rating of E on them. And well, I'm not seeing it, but you see how much it flexes down there at the bottom. There's a lot of flex on that. So I think it's just a lot of weight on these tires that aren't made to be on here. Okay. All right. All right, guys. First things first, we're going to pull out this valve stem. You don't need a lot to change out tires. They're fairly simple and easy to do. When I bought this tire changer, it's leaning on here from Harbor Freight, I think I paid $40 for that back when I bought it. And I've changed out more tires than I can count with that thing. So you'll need a tool like this. That'll get your valve stem out of there. It's got this little piece here that the valve stem lines up with, and it will unscrew it for you. So you need one of those. You'll obviously need an air chuck, and some way of filling the tire after you're done putting the new one on. So once the air is out of this, we will put it down here and break the bead. Now these were just recently put on, shouldn't take much. Get in there. There we go. There we go. Break the bead on the other side here. Okay. All right, beads broke. We're going to put this tire up on the machine. It's got this little hook here, or this little rod. You're going to line that up with one of your bolt holes. Put this on, and then tighten it down. Now, while pushing down on one side here and pushing in, I'm going to take this, pry up, and basically I'm going to pull on this lever and just pull this tire right off the bead. Now, one thing you might want to do is put some lubricant on that. So I just got some spray 9 here. We're going to spray that down with that. Windex works. Something to give it a little bit of slipperiness. Soap and water. Otherwise you can tear your bead and then you'll ruin the tire. The tire will be no good. I plan on selling these, so get them there. Don't want to ruin them. There we go, tire's off. Now, while your tire's off, go ahead and inspect your bead. I know these are clean because I cleaned them when I put it on. The seat, I mean, not the bead, the bead's on the tire. Just make sure it's clean. If not, you may need to take a wire wheel to it if it's got corrosion on it, or, you know, just clean it and wipe it down from dirt. So that looks good to me. I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to put these on with the white letters sticking out. So, just like that. Give her a good push. Unfortunately, on this Harbor Freight thing, this side doesn't work so good. So all I'm going to do is just pry it on with this end. A little bit at a time. There we go.
Keep working it.
One thing you want to do is make sure that this isn't seated around the bead, because you'll never get that tire on. It's got to be on the inside where it's the diameter is smaller than the outside where the bead is. So you're going to push down on it and then pry. There we go. Push down and pry. This is my way of doing it. It's a manual way. I don't have a machine, but this is going to work just fine. Done a lot of tires like this. Get in there. There we go. All right. Feels good. Now, I'm going to teach you guys a trick that you may or may not know. So, without that valve stem in there, what you can do is take a blowgun like this, take off the end piece, little piece with the hole in it, the OSHA approved piece, plug it in. What that'll do is this end will fit perfectly over your valve stem. And you'll be able to put a full 1/4 or 3/8 of an inch line worth of air in that tire all at one time. It's the best way I've found to seat a tire is just to do it by sheer volume of air. So let's grab our valve stem and our tool. That way we're ready when we get this bead seated, and we can go ahead and put that in and air it up the rest of the way. So what you're going to do is stick that over it, and a lot of times it'll stay. And you're going to push down on it first. Seat that bottom real good, the bottom side of the tire. Now when you start pumping air in here, you're just going to push in with your knees and lift up on it to kind of seat this top. Some tires are easier than others. We'll see how these go. There it goes. Easy. Here's some pops. There you go. Seated all the way now. So, we're going to put our valve stem back in, get it ready. You see how that just stays on there? I don't know how much PSI is in there, but it's hard. The threads in there keep it locked on your valve stem. So I'm going to pull that off, and we're going to put our valve stem back in. Just like that. Now these tires are 80 PSI rated. I think I'm only going to put about 40 in them. By the way, these are new valve stems. They were all bad when I put on those other tires. So we don't have to worry about that. There's 30 PSI in there now. I'll let that air up a little bit. Almost 39. And 40. So that is how I change a tire. I'll go ahead and go put it on the truck. We'll do the other 3 But before we do that, I'll show you what it looks like in comparison. Now, as suspected, these are taller tires, so I am going to have to jack this truck up more. All right, so there you go. You can definitely tell a difference. Looks a lot better, I think. Fills in that wheel well, sits up a little bit higher. I want to say these tires were about 3 inches taller. So there's that one. Back over here. And that one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to change out the other 3, and I'll be back when those are all done. Well, guys, here it is. I'll try to put a before and after pic in. I got to be honest with you, I'm impressed by these tires. Took it down the road doing 65. I haven't balanced them or nothing, and it's just smooth as can be. So, I mean, that was my experience. They worked out really good for me. Now, I do want to point out that if you're going to change tires like I do, you can't care about the rim because you will scratch it. This truck isn't going to be, 100% nice, and I'm going to fix it up. It's got a purpose, but it's not going to be a show truck. So, with that being said, definitely don't do it the way I do it if you care about your rims. So I do want to talk a little bit about this truck and kind of what I've done to it so far. Like I said, I got this truck. It was sitting for a long time and it needed a lot of stuff, and it still does. But slowly and steady, I'm working on it. So I got new windshield wipers for it. I had to replace one battery. The other one was good, so I didn't mess with it. I put a glow plug controller in. That was bad, and they had another one rigged up, and it didn't quite work right. So I ended up putting the original one back on, and I'm also going to hook up one to toggle them on and off if I need to. Got a new air filter, changed the fob batteries. They do work, so that's kind of neat. Like I said, all 4 valve stems have been done. The mirrors on these trucks are terrible, so I ended up buying 2 new mirrors for it and putting those on. The whole front was smashed in. I think I talked about this in a previous video, and basically had to rebuild the whole front with the core support, everything that went along with that. Had to get a new bumper for it, which ended up being a used bumper that I found a pretty good deal on. And those bumpers are special. They got 2 holes in the front, and it's special for that diesel. So anytime you see one of these 90s Chevy pickups and it's got the holes in the front, more than likely there's a diesel in it. Got some tailgate straps, obviously new grill and stuff for the front, new front lights, AC condenser and oil cooler that was bad from when it got hit. Put a new antenna on it. It had a welding wire for an antenna, so while I was at the junkyard, I grabbed one off of another pickup and threw that one on. I did replace the engine oil cooler lines. They were leaking really bad, and I'm told that's a common problem, and that if they go bad, they're rubber. and aluminum, and the rubber rots out and you'll lose your engine oil and blow your motor up. So I wanted to make sure that was good. My focus from here on out is to make sure that this truck is mechanically sound, because I do want to get it road legal, and we'll see how that goes. We did an oil change on it. I did put that camper top on there, or a cap if you want to call it that. Found that same color and everything, $150, so I couldn't pass that up. I'd like to set that up a little bit for possibly camping, so we'll see how that goes. I did have to replace the gas shocks on that and get a key for it, but that's not a big deal. I did have to replace one rear brake line. All the rest of them are good on that truck, but there was one that was rusted out, so it hadn't been replaced yet. And that took care of the brake light that was on. Now, I do have a CB radio that I'm going to put in it, and a CB radio antenna and mount and all that, so eventually I'll be doing a video on putting that in as soon as I get it all figured out and how I want to do it, everything. So I think that just about covers a lot of the stuff I've done. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that, and I'm going to talk about some of the stuff I need to do to it now. It still has some mechanical issues that need to be dealt with, and I don't want to be running it a long time with those issues, because they'll cause problems that pretty much will blow the motor up. So let's go ahead and get into that. So some of these issues are under the hood. So basically, here's your 6.5 diesel, and this engine has a bad harmonic balancer. I am running it a little bit here and there, but I'm not going to be taking it up and down the road too much until I change that out, because that is one thing, it'll break your crank. So we don't want to do that. I'm going to definitely put a harmonic balancer on. Also, it's actually bone stock. So the PMD down here, this pump mounted driver, it's all the way down in there, is still in there. It's got 89 or 90,000 miles on this engine, and that thing is still in there. That was a big deal for Chevy. When they mounted it there, that thing gets hot, and then you have the engine heat and everything in there, and they would go bad all the time. So I can't believe that thing is still there, or somebody has possibly replaced it and put it back there. They make relocation kits. Chevy came out with this, and there's a lot of good aftermarket ones. There's also some cheap ones that you want to avoid, but I'm going to go ahead and buy that aftermarket relocation kit. I think it's $230 from Leroy Diesel. At some point, I'm going to pull the trigger on that, and we're going to go ahead and put that on. The other thing about this truck is I want to change out the lift pump. The lift pump sounds a little rough, and I want to make sure that, because when I'm driving down the road, this thing has a little bit of hesitation when you get up into higher RPM, and so I think it's got two different issues here. The lift pump is going to be one of them. It's okay, the stock one that's on it, but they don't put out enough pressure, and I want to get one that puts out just a little bit more. The other issue is there are 3/8 inch fuel lines that come off the back of the motor, and they run down into your frame rail, and that is for your that goes straight to your lift pump and supplies your injection pump with fuel. Those are rotten, and they're actually leaking, so I need to put on new 3/8 fuel line there. A lot of the rubber parts on this truck are shot just because it had been setting for so long. So that's one thing I need to do to it also. So as far as the under the hood, those things that I'm just talking about will actually make it roadworthy, in my opinion. We're going to change the transmission fluid, obviously, and a lot of the other fluids, just to get that out of the way. But one more thing, I'll probably just get a serpentine belt. This one's not bad, but it is starting to crack, so I like to always change them out, and I'll take that one and leave it in the truck just in case. But other than that, that'll make it pretty much roadworthy. Then if you look at the windshield here, it's going to need replaced. Lots of cracks in it, And so we're gonna have somebody come out and do that. And then on the roof, we got kind of a rust spot going down the middle. And obviously you can see a lot of the paint is chipping off. So I'm gonna have to address some of that too. But for now, we're just going to try to make this thing as reliable as possible. I'm gonna probably drive it for a little while before I do any kind of body work to it other than what I've done. And we'll see how that goes. So I guess I'm gonna leave it here. You guys can look forward to more videos in the future about this truck. And hope you guys enjoyed the video and got something out of this. And I will see you on the next one.